This section is about search strategy. It is a suggested way of going about looking for information for an essay or an assignment using the information resources that we have available. The first thing to do is to think about the topic that you're working on and decide what you want to look for. If it's a complex question, maybe you can break it down into smaller questions and do a separate search for each one. It helps if you can formulate your research question in a sentence so that you can identify the key search terms in it. You may have to think of alternative terms for your concepts. And finally, you have to put your search terms together in a logical way so that the database can find exactly what it is you are looking for. In a previous section, we talked about Boolean operators. These are terms which most databases use to combine your search terms in a logical way. In the first two examples here, we have the and the or operators. If you're looking for articles on Max Weber's views on capitalism, for example, you can put Weber and capitalism like this. The two circles represent all the articles which have Weber in as a keyword and all the articles which have capitalism as a keyword. And the AND function will bring up those articles in which both the keywords are present. So the blue bit in the middle where they overlap. If you put or between the words, this is a wider search because it will bring up all the articles which have either one word or the other or both. So it is useful if you have synonyms or concepts which overlap in some way. So here, speech and communication do not mean exactly the same thing, but there is enough overlap in meaning for me to be interested in either one or both of them. If you want to search for a phrase of 2 words or more, you can put inverted commas around the phrase, as here in group dynamics. So the database will only find instances of these words when they are right next to each other as a phrase. Another very useful device that most databases have is truncation. This is where you can cut down a word to its root, so that if you put in, for example, sociologue with an asterisk like this, it will find sociology, sociological, sociologist, and so on. Finally, at the bottom, you can combine your search using brackets, so that this example will find anything on either the diagnosis or the assessment of dyslexia. Most of the bigger databases, if you go to the advanced search option, will give you a set of boxes with the ands and the ors already available so that you can put in your search terms like this. And your searches do not need to be any more complex than this. It is better to do several separate searches rather than making a single search unnecessarily complex. So to use this as an example, let's say this is my essay title or research question. Is there a relationship between watching video games and aggressive behavior in young people? I can express it as a sentence like this and pick out the key terms. Here I've selected video games, aggressive behavior, and young people as the essential terms to look for. Don't use functional words such as relationship between, effect on, advantages of, and so on. These are for you to decide once you have read the evidence. For the moment, you just need to concentrate on the concrete terms for the subject in hand. So here I've highlighted in different colors the 3 facets of my topic. And here I've put these 3 terms at the head of 3 columns, so I can think of alternative keywords for each of them. For video games, I could also use computer games. Both are phrases, so I've put in inverted commas around them. For aggressive behavior, I could use single words like aggression or violence. In both cases, I've truncated the words so that I can find, for example, aggression, aggressive, and so on. For young people, I could think of a range of alternatives. In some specialist databases, such as the medical or educational ones, there may be search limiters by age group, so I may be able to use those instead to focus on the age group I'm interested in. When I'm doing my search, I will need to combine these three facets of my topic with the Boolean and, because all three need to be present. And then the alternative terms in each column I need to combine with or. So you can now formulate a search strategy for a topic that you are working on. And the next stage will be to find a good bibliographic database for your subject and try it out.